everybody, welcome back. It's probably the next day for you, but just a few minutes for me, and we are going to continue with matting our mini album using Stamperia, Voyages Fantastique. And I have picked out some more mats, and we're going to get going with those. Okay. I'm continuing to work with sort of the major large pages because those use the biggest pieces, and I have ended up already going into my second collection. So if you're using like Prima or Graphic 45, something like that, you'll be fine with one. Stamperia, where you only get one of each sheet, you will need two. Okay, so I'm just gonna move along. As you can see, I've chosen these, which came from the same sheet, and you'll see when we get to the next two that they are also from the same sheet. I've cut the next 4 mats from one sheet. You will see why. Now, you certainly don't have to do it this way. That's just what I've chosen to do. At some point, I will most likely embellish these pages so there'll be something sitting on top of these mats, even if they're just photo mats or something like that, or maybe tuck spots. Let's get these two down. Oops, ink out of the way. Now these are 6-inch pages, so the mats will be somewhere between 5 3/4 and 5 7/8, just depending on your personal taste, how big a border you like around your mats. I like a little bit more, so I generally go just, let's see, like 7, not 7/8, but just shy of that. First one. I just find if I cut the mats too big, it looks nice, but I like the definition a slightly bigger reveal gives, and I also just find it easier to actually put down the mats when I have a little bit more space to play with. Okay. This one. Let's see what I'm doing, just putting down the glue. Just make sure you get into the corners with your glue. And with this fine tip on the glue bottle, you can poke it under there and add a little more if you have to, but better to just put it there in the first place. Okay, again, you want to make sure when you have a directional paper, such as this, that you have it right side up. I love that all this text just looks really cool. All right, so then this page gets flipped over, and we're going to put these two, which are also from the same paper. So you'll see when you lift out the whole page, you get a consistent look. Okay, now this one has the arc on it, and I will review with you how to do that. Just let me get this inked. This is Walnut Stain, Distress Ink Walnut Stain from Ranger. Okay, so when I made this page, before I put the page together, I traced the curve that I had drawn using a plate onto just a piece of white cardstock, and then I just drew the 1/8 inside that line just by drawing, using my ruler. Hang on, put this out of the way. Just put my ruler there. And then I just put the 1/8 inch line on the outer line and just drew that, turned it, drew, turned it, drew, turned it, like that. Over and over you can see all the lines I drew. And that forms a smooth circle, and then I just cut it out, traced it on here. And then once I had the mat, I cut the mat slightly large. Once I had the curve on and I laid it on the page, then I just checked and marked where I needed to trim it at this side to make it fit. Okay, very easy. Now, when I still had my computer, and hopefully I'll be getting a new one soon, but I would use my silhouette to cut something like that out. But it's very easy to do it by hand, so it's not really an issue for you if you are a little timid about it. Just practice. Ooh, I think I cut this too big. That is too big. Hang on. I'm going on about how easy it is, and then I made a mistake. Hang on. What did I do? All right, let's see how that is. Okay, that's much better. Re-glue. And that goes to show you should always do a dry fit. And I did not suffer the consequences. Okay, let us try that again. Oh, much better. Okay. This one goes here, and I did dry fit this one, so we should be fine. All right. And because this is all hand drawn and hand cut, it's not going to be 100% perfect everywhere, but that's fine. Just make sure it's pretty even along that curve. That's where it's most likely to show if there's an issue, although this one seems to fit pretty well. Okay, that's that, and that looks really nice. I am happy with that. Okay, so that goes from there to there. Now, when we turn it over, okay, let's see, I have my curved piece. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so this piece is going to go here. It's going to end up like that, and I'm picking up the blue here. Okay, and then when we open this side, which does the same thing, I am using these clocks. That, which I think looks really nice. Okay. Let's get started with those. And this thing does fold multiple ways, but you can see how I'm doing it. So we are just going to ink these, cut them exactly like the other ones. This time we will be careful and do our dry fit. Fine. Okay, I'm going to glue that one down first. Then we can open it up and do the ones with the clocks. That's not too even, is it? But that's all right. It'll be fine. Again, these things are handmade. They're not going to be perfect. Some people make them look more perfect than others, but mine are never perfect, but I still love them. Okay, so now we have these two spaces, and this is where we're going to use our clocks. So let's do a dry fit. Right. Go. Now this one is a little tricky because you can't really get it down on the ground too much, I don't think. Not really. So it's hard to burnish it. One thing we could do is put it to this side and sort of burnish it through the middle. There we go. Now this, I didn't bother with magnets on this one. This one wasn't a case of my usual forgetting. I just felt like there was so much weight here that it didn't need it. And I've used an awful lot of magnets already, so. Of course, if you want to use a magnet, by all means, put one there, or a tie, or some other type of closure. Okay. This one's a little easier to burnish since it's got the... Okay. All right, so now we have this one that we did earlier. I think I may need to put little tabs on the tops of these so people know to pull them down. That, this flips over. We have this nice double spread here, which I really like. Then we flip this over and we have this, and then you realize that it opens. And that goes like that. And now we have our waterfall that we did. And then we have this. Then we have this. And I have this piece left over from when I was doing the clocks. And it is not wide enough. So what I did is I split the mat. And I'm just going to hide the fact that it's not a full mat under the belly band. And then I did test to see. I was afraid if I put things in and out of the belly band, you know, would it catch? And it does catch a little bit, but it just takes a tiny bit of wiggling, and then you're fine. So I'm gonna go with it. If you're not, I mean, obviously if you have a full piece, use the full piece, but I don't. I could cut another one, but I don't see the point. I think this is gonna be fine. Now, normally, if I had an edge like this that I was putting under something, I wouldn't bother putting glue there. But in this case, I'm going to put glue there because I don't want it lifting up when things are going in and out of the belly band. Okay? Now this is a directional print. Be careful. Let's make sure we don't get it in there upside down. Okay. Go. And let's burnish that. Be careful with that magnet there. You don't want to bruise your paper over that magnet if you can help it. And slide that underneath and make sure we didn't. Okay. Okay, it's catching right now because there's nothing on this side, but once we get this one in, that'll help with that. Now we're just going to do the same thing with the other one. I really didn't need to ink the side that's going under the belly band, but force of habit. Again, let's make sure that we have it upright. Slide that in under the belly band. Whoops. And make sure you line it up side to side with the other one so that it looks like a continuous piece of paper, even though it is not. There. Easy peasy, just like that. And we managed to use a smaller piece of paper. Okay, so there's that. So we still have quite a bit to do there. And I'm going to put this one here. And let's see, let's dry fit that. It's a little big. Maybe not. It's all right. I just like a little bit more reveal, I think. I'm just going to trim a teeny bit off. You go by your measurements, but, you know, you've got your score lines and your folds and bulk from other pages, and everything doesn't always measure exact. As a matter of fact, hardly anything ever measures exact, so. Everybody has their own way of matting, but I like to, especially with a book of this, with so many big pages, and paper like this, I like to do these big pages first and make sure that they get the most prominent papers. All right, I think that's all that we have cut. That's sticking out a little bit. Just notice that. That's my envelope page. That's all right. That's a little bit of score tape that's just sticking out there. I'm just going to put a little powder on it, and that'll take the sticky away. It'll be fine. Okay. All right. So that's that. I just need to pick out some more mats, and then we can continue on. All right. So I'm just going to take a little break, pick out some more mats. I think we have plenty of time to continue on in this video, and we will add those mats in and keep going. I'll be right back. Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to finish matting the inside of our album that we're making, the Voyages Fantastique by Stamperia. And I went ahead and chose all my mats, got them cut out, and got them inked, so you don't have to watch all that. And we're just going to start at the front, work our way through. So these are the 3 mats I've chosen for this stacked pocket. Okay, and I have cut into my second collection, so I didn't get it all done with one, but that's okay. I didn't think I would. All right, and I am using art glitter glue for my mats, as I usually do. There we go. Oops. There we go. I feel like it's a little dark in here. Am I missing a light? I was missing a light. Okay, is that better? I may fast forward through some of this. I haven't given you exact measurements on the mats because, as I mentioned, I think in my last video, they really are going to vary depending on, you know, how you scored, how you folded, and just your personal preference. You just want to measure the area where you're going to put your mat, and then deduct between 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch, depending on how much reveal you like around your mats. Okay. And then when you're choosing your mats, again, it's personal taste. And, you know, how many pictures you're going to put in, what kind of pictures you're going to put in, if you're going to put in memorabilia. You might want to choose kind of subtle mats that don't take away too much from your pictures, since I know I'm not going to put pictures in this album, or at least not very many if I put any. I'm just going bold with my mats. And then I really didn't need glue at the bottom, but I put it, once you've put your mats in a pocket, you always want to go through and make sure you didn't accidentally glue your pocket shut. Oops, sorry, hit my light. Okay, now this one we already put down. And this one you can see the back side, it's upside down, but if I turn it over this way, the dark side will be on the inside, and I like it on the outside, so that's why I'm doing this one this way. Alright, now this one, I'm going to put this mat on the outside. The inside, I'm going to put a photo mat. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to add a magnet here and maybe a tuck spot here. I feel like the weight of this mat and then the weight of the inside photo mat's probably going to be enough to keep that closed. Just double checking if I want the blue, because the blue looks very nice with that actually. I really like those gears, but I quite like the blue as well. Let me see, what have I got? An awful lot of the beige. I think I will go with the blue. I had intended to use this side, but I like that blue. Okay. Hang on. I have to ink this side because I inked the other side. That's the side I had originally intended to use. I'm going to be using for my photo mats craft colored cardstock. I kind of wish I had a pale aqua to match this blue. I think that would be super pretty, but I don't, and I don't want to go try and find one that color. So sticking with the craft, but if you happen to have an aqua that matches this color, or a turquoise or blue, whatever color that is in your lexicon, it might be a nice choice for your photo mats. Oh boy, I didn't get that on very straight, did I? Okay, well, that's how it's gonna go. Okay, and then I have this piece here to go on the pocket. And I can't remember where that came from. That might have come from one of the covers, I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. Now that I look at the back of it, that wasn't one of the covers. Go. Right. And this one, this is going to go inside the pocket. I don't think I inked that. Let's go ahead and ink that. A lot of the Stamperia papers have these borders on them, and it doesn't bother me that I have a border on one side and not another, whatever. You can work with it if that bothers you, but since there's such a small amount of paper in each collection, or at least a small amount of each print, you do get a lot of pages. You're really limiting yourself if you're going to eliminate those borders. I have this piece, and I've inked it on both sides because I hadn't decided which side I was going to use. I feel like that side's too plain. This side's, Stamperia makes beautiful papers. They're printed beautifully, but this print is a little blurry, and that bothers me. However, we can embellish or something, maybe. Or do I just use this side and not worry about, then I don't have to worry about that print bothering me. I think that's what I'm going to do, because that, I think it just would bother me that that's blurry. I don't know why it's blurry. Like I said, their other, you know, mostly their prints are super crisp and well printed. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but like this dictionary page is absolutely clear, as tiny as the print is, easy to read and clear. Go. Okay, and I have this one. A little low, but I'm going to go with it. Okay, and then this is going to go there. to, when I'm doing my mats, I like to do it this way, where I go through and pick all the mats, get them cut, get them inked, and then glue them all down. It's very relaxing once you get to this stage and everything's picked out, and all you have to do is glue them down. Okay, so this one's going to go here, and this is going to be a photo mat, and there's a magnet there. And I think what I'm going to do here is round these two corners. I hadn't decided up to this point whether I wanted to or not, and I feel like I do want to. So let's get my crocodile chomper here. I'm using the 1/2 inch. And then I just need to do the same to the bottom of the mat. And I'm just going to re-ink a little bit where I chunked. This mat has a little bit of the glue from the binding of the paper stack on it. I'm just trying to scrape a little of that off with my fingernail because it's shiny and I don't like that. Okay. I'd rather have a rough edge than that shiny glue on the edge. Okay, that's better. Turn this around, make it a little easier. There we go. All right, there's that one. And again, this one's going to have a photo mat on the inside, and I hadn't decided here. Honestly, I forgot about it, but I'll find something for that. Okay, these we did already. This one, I'm starting to feel like I should have put a magnet or some sort of closure on it because it stays open. I thought the weight of the mats might keep it closed, but it's not. So I need to decide what, if anything, I want to do about that. I may just put a little pivot point up there or something just to keep it closed. We'll see. Okay, so let's do the waterfall, the pinwheel. And this, I'm just doing the outsides, and I'm going to put photo mats on the insides, which I will do later. And be careful about your direction on these. If you were putting prints on the insides, you would want to be careful that, like, if they flipped up or out, that you had them facing the way you want. But since these are all going on the fronts of the flaps, I'm just making them directional top to bottom. You can see this is from the back cover, this one. There's that one. This one's going to go here. There's that same oddly blurry print, which I don't think I used it anywhere. I think I only used the other side of this paper. Just, it really bugged me that it was so blurry. Again, this is directional. Stamperia is kind of like Graphic 45 in that a lot of their papers are directional. Okay, and then this is going to be the last one with the clocks. You're having a hard time telling with a paper like the clocks which is right side up and which is wrong side, you know, directional. Maybe the back will give you a clue. In this case, I have these numbers here so I can tell. Because if you can't tell, other people probably can't tell either, so you don't need to worry about it too much. Okay. And then this one will lift up and reveal this, and then these will all have craft cardstock mats on them, which I will do, and there's a magnet holding that closed. Okay, now I'm going to open this up, and then we have these two, which I don't think I inked. I didn't, so let's get that done. This piece for the pocket came off the front cover. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the inner pocket. This also came from the front cover. I could have used this side, it would have looked fine, but I felt like when I was picking out mats for the rest of the book after our last time together, I felt like the book was starting to get a little bit busy. So I went ahead and tried to choose some of the overall prints, the less graphic prints for some of these mats, just to try to give the eye a place to take a break while looking at this book. You do need to give, you know, some resting places. I feel like that is high there. It's very high there. Oh well, it is what it is. You will be working much closer to yourself. I'm reaching way out, and it's hard to see, but you'll be more careful. I probably should have turned that upside down, but that's okay. Looks like I didn't finish inking. Sorry about that. I was hoping to have all the inking done, so you wouldn't have to sit through me inking. That's okay. Alright, so that's going inside the pocket. outside of the pocket. And let me just ink this piece as well, because it looks like I didn't, for this belly band. Okay, that's going in there. All right, let us learn from past mistakes, and I'm going to turn this one over to put this in and see if I can't get it in straighter. This is part of the problem that I'm having with some of these pages as I go further in, is the bulk of what's behind them is making them not lie flat. Oh my goodness, I didn't do any better with that, did I? There we go. That's okay. And again, I'm using a dry baby wipe to help with the excess glue that I'm getting everywhere. And let's rub that in. That looks really nice. There we go. And I'm using these CVS baby wipes, and I bought this small cup holder package just because I wasn't sure I was going to like them if they had lint or anything, but they're fine and they're cheap. Okay, now use this print actually does have a direction. I think you could get away with using it upside down, but I'm going to try and keep it straight. Okay. Trying to make sure this line is quite straight, because I figure if this one's a little crooked, it's not going to be as obvious. But if I get that one straight, the other one should be straight. So, go. All right. And then this is going to go here, and I'm going to turn this. I feel like I cut this with very little reveal on either end, just because I didn't want to. I don't want to cut off this stripe at the bottom, which turned into a check, and I didn't want to cut off too much of this red, white, and blue on this balloon, so I didn't leave myself a lot of play with this one. Again, I don't have a lot of leeway here. So I'm going to try and put it down loosely. That looks good. Now feel free, like I just did, to make some minor adjustments here and there if you want to get a particular look. If this particular mat has less reveal than the others, then that's fine, as long as that's giving you what you want in your book. All right, now I think we just have this back cover, the secretarial pocket, and I still am thinking of adding a little pocket here, a tuck spot or something, but we shall see. I'm going to go ahead and put this one in first. Again, this is the back cover. Oops, take my pin out, that would help. I was running out of big pieces and didn't really want to cut into too many of the papers in my other collection. So I think this mat's actually a hair short, but I'm okay with that. Also, because of the having to fit into this and that fold, it was going to inevitably be a little short anyway, so. This one in is a little tricky. Okay. if you need to, use like a roller to get in there. Just make sure that's in well, and it is. Now this piece here was a bit tricky for me to cut. When I made the secretarial pocket, I did trace just the curve onto a scrap piece of paper, and then I laid it on, you know, just to make sure everything's fine. You can see it doesn't fit the whole pocket, it was just for the curve. And then when I cut the mat, I laid it on the mat. And as you can see, it wasn't quite straight, so I had to play with it a little bit, but eventually I did get it. So just take your time, you know, cut it big first and work your way down if you have to. And if you want to, if you know what you're going to use for mat, you could just trace the curve right onto the paper, the mat paper, rather than having to make a template, which would probably be easier, but I had no idea what I was going to mat that pocket with. So. All right, and now, again, with this one, you want to get the curve, and you can see I'm a little, this mat's a little funky, but that's okay. But the area you're most concerned with is here, because you can always add a strip here, here, or whatever you have to do, but you want that to look neat. Okay, I'm just going to give that a little burnish. Okay. Now, so I still feel like I'm probably going to add like a little pocket or tuck spot or something there. As a matter of fact, I'm sure I'm going to. So I wonder if I shouldn't go ahead and just do that now. So that you can see. I'm going to use a scrap. What have I got? This piece right here looks like it'll work well. Okay, so I want it to sit on top of this mat with a little clearance on either side of the mat. So this mat is 4 inches. So if I want my pocket to be 3 3/4, 3.5. 3.5. I want my pocket to be 3.5. So that means I have to cut it 4.5. And I don't want it too high. I think 1.5 inches will be fine. So I need to cut it 4.5 by 2. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. Okay. Get your scoreboard. And this is just going to be a traditional standard pocket that we've made a lot of in the past. Even in this book, we've made quite a few. So lay it in your scoreboard. You see? Score it at 1/2 inch. Rotate 90 degrees. Score it at 1/2 inch. Rotate 90 degrees. Score it at 1/2 inch. Okay, that's it. Easy as that. And then let's get our scissors and a bone folder. And we're just cutting out the corners at an angle like that. And then I am going to miter these top corners because they are not going to have a mat going into them to hide them. Just like that. And fold and burnish. And fold and burnish. If you have any little bits sticking out, try to get them folded in. Now, I think, let's just check it for fit. Yes, that's perfect. But I think before I put this down, I think I'll mat it. It'll be easier. So I want to cut my mat about 1 1/4 by, how big? 1 1/4 by 3 3/8. So let's see what I've got. Okay, that is really cute. I am glad I went with that one. And I think I've got it sideways. Like if you saw the whole paper, well, obviously that's the 3 right there, so it's probably supposed to go like that, but it'll be fine on there. if any of you use a traveler's notebook, which I do. And I got mine at Foxy Fix. Is it Foxy Fix? Yes. And mine has the secretarial pocket with the pocket on top, like what we're doing here, and I really like that setup. So even though this is not a planner or anything like that, I still like that, having that set up. So alright, and let's just put our glue on 3 sides. Alright, and I am just going to eyeball this. Put it at the bottom, but I don't want it all the way at the bottom. I want a little of that border to show. Just like that. Okay. Okay. There. All right, let's go through. I think there was that one spot where they did with my pen. Oh, there it is. Where I needed something. Okay. And it was near the front. Okay, so there's our 3 pockets. We're going to make all these inserts in the next video. And we're going to put a photo mat there. There's a pocket. There's a pocket. There's a belly band. There's an envelope flip. And again, I need something for inside there, so I don't want to forget that. So I'll probably just put the craft cardstock there, depending what I have for scraps. And this is the tuck spot that we made. And this is the area where I need something. So I need something there, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be the craft. But I would like to put, I think, a pattern paper there. So it doesn't need to be much. Just even 2.5 inches would be fine. By like 5 3/4. Alright, I'm going to turn this so I can see what I'm doing. So that's okay, cut it a little bit. Alright, so this has to fit on top of the tabs of the accordion pocket. So it's a little tricky. Let's see. Oops. Okay, I'm going to put this in sideways so that I can see those tabs. Nice. Definitely want to get in there and burnish those where the tabs are, especially. So I don't want that interfering with this accordion pocket. There we go. And then this is going to be most likely craft. Okay, so that takes care of that. And then this, and then this, and if you remember, we have actual tuck spots here and here. So these will look cool when we put some tags and things hanging out. Not too much because we don't have a lot of bulk, but we'll put some stuff in there. And then this one is too plain, and we'll see what we're going to put there. We may put nothing because, you know, may just leave them for a couple of big photos. This is the one where I feel like I should have put a closure and didn't, so I'll probably play around with something there. And then we have our pinwheel waterfall.